we're doing another segment that we're starting to work in a little more called Compliments. And this is a segment where we take somebody from our life and we just talk about them and something we learned from them. We give them a compliment that will be forever out there on the internet. So I hope you like this, Professor John Bond. I want to compliment John Bond. He is a professor at a school, at a college out here in Ohio. He was a professor to me. He was a professor to Luke when we were there in film school, and he met DJ Seda. And so at our 50th live recording episode, he helped us out with that. So first of all, many thanks.
Many thanks.
Many thanks to John Bond. Check out the live episode when you guys can. It was a big benchmark for us. But the thing I wanted to give John a compliment about is three things. When I talk about his personality, he's a guy who just kind of goes with the flow, and I really like that. And he always shoots pretty straight, but in a way that's really congenial. Like he's like,
yeah,
hey, I'm going to tell you you're dumbass, but I'll say it nicely. And it makes him really good to work with young adults that are going out into the workforce. I mean, he shoots straight. He tells them like it is, and it's hard, but he does it in a way that's endearing and helps those kids ask more questions. Secondly, I want to talk about his teaching style, kind of piggybacking off what I just said. When I was there, he was always like, you better make mistakes in my class. If you don't make mistakes in my class, you're doing it wrong. If you're not trying, people would go up and like, should I do this or this or this? He's like, I don't know. It's your project. And it's just, that's how you gotta be. Cause there's so many ego-driven professors that are willing to come in and say, hey, like I'm just gonna like imprint on all these people. My ideas will just be extrapolated to other things. And then I also appreciated, I know there's like two schools of thought when it comes to kind of teaching. There's like the very philosophical kind of academic way of teaching, which is like very much theory, and that's necessary and it's important. But what I like about John Bond is it's just like, hey man, the real world isn't based off of just what you've read in a book. It's based off of what you've done. And we need more professors like that, especially at like arts programs or trades programs where it's all about the hours and the reps rather than just the theory. So I want to compliment him for that. And then finally, this is who I want to be when I quote unquote retire, but just the persistence to get involved in everything. I mean, he'll literally tell everybody like, hey, you working on stuff? Hey, you working on stuff? Oh, I'll be there. You want me to work on that? And it's just like, man, he's still going. He's got more energy than I do. And
he's in a band.
And he's in a band. He goes to all his buddies' gigs. Like, that's the other thing. He supports people. So I don't know how he finds the time to do all his stuff and get out and support other people and just jam, as he calls it. We're just jamming. That's what he told me when we were setting up for the episode there at the school. Yeah. He's like, I was like, hey, we all good? You good? Are you all right? You calm? He's like, man, we're just jamming. So
very laid back.
Yeah. So I wanted to give him a compliment, and that was really fast. So
yeah, no. I going back to one of his classes was one of the first classes I took in the film program. It was I think it was like multi-camera or something. And out of all the professors or teachers, he was I don't want to say realist, but he was like, hey, like I've worked in the news. Like you could just, after seeing that, like maybe at the time I didn't realize it, but like after then going and doing stuff, it's like, oh, John Bond, like he gave it to us real
in the trenches.
Yeah, he's like, like if you take a job as a switchboard operator, you're gonna be going crazy, but it's fun. Like you're gonna be pulling your hair out, but you're gonna have a good time. And just I remember one of our projects that we were doing, like everyone had to jump on one. It was like some play, some weird artsy thing. Yeah. And we were just in the back. The cameras were running, and like at the board, he was doing everything. He's like, all right, who wants to jump on? It's like, oh shit! Like, oh yeah, that's why we're here to do this.
The play is starting. Who wants to get on?
Yeah, it's like, and you're just a student, like whatever, 19, you're 18-year-old, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to mess anything up. But he's like, yeah, all right, jump on. Like, start switching this thing. It's like you said, you better mess up in my class. Like,
jump on John Bond is what we should have called him.
He's like, what do you do? He's like, it's easy. You just hit this one. You want that camera? You want that? Hit two if you want this camera.
Meanwhile, he's like making sure all this other stuff's not like going to hell. He's just like trying to teach and do all this stuff.
He's like, just go for it.
He's a wild man. I actually met John Bond before I got to college. I got a job starting. I was working on a team that was doing high school football at some of the bigger venues around here, like Byers Field and Parma. And the first day that I met John Bonham and spent time with him, I spent probably like 4 hours crammed in a small truck with him in a van with all the TV gear in the back. And I was the replay guy and the graphics guy. No, I was the graphics guy. So he would there's 4 grown men in this van. Like, I'm not talking about like the nice Mercedes, like high ceiling, like
no sprinters,
like no sprinter vans. Like, yeah, you want some candy van. It was 5 grown men. And we were just all in there, and I was in the tucked in the back corner, and I just never I had like snacks below, and I just had to reach down like between my legs because I couldn't like go this way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I couldn't lean to the left because John Bond was there, and I couldn't lean to the right because the wall was there. So I'm just like trying to reach, and you could hear me rattling around. He's like, "What you doing over there?" Like, just a snack. It's halftime. But he, man, calm under pressure. Yeah. We had a lot of screw ups, and he just was like, just. Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Never seen him flip out.
I think it's not worth it for him.
Yeah, he's just that mellow, like, all right, yeah, go for it.
He's kind of a perfunctory character, right? I mean,
in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he cares about people.
Yeah.
He cares more about people than he does about whatever it is that he's doing, which is
it's like,
cool.
yeah, he messed up, whatever. Okay.
The world needs more cats like John Bond, man. I mean, like you said, he's one of those guys, he'll let the wheels fall off just to see the show.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, just talking to that guy, I was like, man, this guy don't care. I mean,
it's true.
Talk about having good perspective. I mean, I would have stayed in school if I knew John Bond was around. I was out in 6 months. But I
think a lot of people do stay because of him.
Yeah.
Because they know all the other classes are heavier, and they know they're getting real world experience from him. I mean, a staple of that school for a long time. And it's funny, he retired last year. Mm-hmm. And then I get a message at the top of this year saying, "Hey, would you come speak to one of my classes?" I was like, "I thought you retired." He's like, "I can't stay away from these guys." And so he's just there because he likes the students, because he likes teaching. I mean, it serves him no other benefit other than to keep busy. So I think he's a great guy. I think he's who I want to be more like now, let alone when I'm older.
Don't wait.
Yeah. I mean, even down to his kind of curmudgeon-y personality. Like, you wouldn't go up to him and be like, "Oh, this is like a nice person." Like, he's like kind of like walking around like, he owns the place, and just because he kind of does, and it's just
he's royalty there.
He is royalty. He's a vagabond but a prince. So anyway, I think the whole point is just look out for people out there in the world that are willing to teach you, with calm nature, and willing to let you fail without any like kind of repercussions. That's what you want in a teacher. That's what you want in an instructor. You don't want somebody who's just gonna give you the theory and then just like turn away as you try to make it, in your world. Like, you want somebody who's gonna be a resource and somebody who's gonna be guardrails for you to just kind of screw it up.
Yeah, it's like bowling, but with the safety bumpers.
Exactly.
You're crashing something down a 60-foot lane.
Yeah.
But, you got the guardrails, like you said.
Yeah, man, I'm such a liberal arts student. Anybody out there who's listening that's, fans of ours and they're engineers, they're just like, "You can't do that if you're building a bridge." True. But you gotta build a little toothpick bridge and watch it collapse before you can get out there and build something that's real and takes on cars. So that's compliments this time around. Professor John Bond.